Hello everyone, we are seeing right now that Bitcoin is crashing and we just went down to 40,600 and I'm adjusting my strategy a bit right now. So please, this is an urgent update, it is an important one. Please watch this video from the beginning and until the end. It's crucial so that you don't make a mistake. Before I come back to the chart, before I show you how I'm adjusting my strategy based on what I'm seeing in the chart right now, let me give you some pieces of the news in general to put your mind at ease as to what is happening, because I just found a piece of the puzzle that is absolutely monumental for what we can see and understand as to what is happening in Bitcoin. So here it is. This piece right here, we're going to go through it. It is actually an interview with the CEO of Franklin Templeton. This is a basically huge entity, which is managing $1.5 trillion for other people. So let's have a look at what the CEO of this $1.5 trillion asset manager is saying about Bitcoin. Pay attention.
It's here. We've got a very special guest this morning. Jenny Johnson, President and CEO of Franklin Templeton, which has $1.5 trillion in assets under management. The 76-year-old firm was one of the roughly dozen to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF just last week after the SEC gave the go-ahead. Jenny, great to have you with us here on set.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start off with the Bitcoin ETF. I do want to, of course, get your take on the markets. But in terms of the Bitcoin ETF, we've seen massive inflows. That was expected in the early days. What do you expect as time moves on? And who are the incremental investors in this ETF, in your view?
You know, it's funny. I'm known for saying that Bitcoin's the greatest distraction from one of the greatest disruptions in financial services, which is blockchain. So a lot of people took that as I'm not a believer in Bitcoin.
So just to give you some context, so previously she said that Bitcoin is a distraction. So, either she's just, changing her narrative right now or whatever, but she actually is flipping. And what she's explaining next about Bitcoin, it doesn't blow my mind because I've known this, but what this whole thing means in terms of the narrative and how big institutions are flipping on it right now, and what the narrative is going to be next among these institutions, and what is going to create the FOMO among the institutions, and the realization of what we're seeing her say in this particular interview. So let's keep watching.
And yet, launching this ETF, you can see obviously the demand that's out there for Bitcoin. And I think there's a lot of reasons why that is.
Well, for one, she's admitting, which is obvious, that there is huge demand for Bitcoin from all over the place. That's one thing, which is duh, but listen in.
I think that, one, from a blockchain standpoint, the ability to pay, Bitcoin's going to be a key component of that. And the technology is going to open up a lot of really interesting types of investment opportunities. We actually launched a tokenized money market fund. We're the first mutual fund first traditional asset manager to actually launch a 40 Act fund on a public blockchain, on the Stellar blockchain. So Bitcoin is just one of the suite of what we think are opportunities here. One of the things that made me a believer is as I went around the world talking to people who would tell you, I had somebody who said, I keep 50% of my savings in Bitcoin because if I say the wrong thing in my country, I could have my assets confiscated. I remember talking to somebody in Israel who said, my parents and their parents had all of their assets confiscated. They keep a portion of it in Bitcoin. So there's a fear component to it that is considered almost a insurance or safety component.
Insurance and safety component. And she's so right. What she's talking about here is the fundamental values and the power and the reason why Bitcoin has been created. And so far, it actually lived up to its standards. And that's what it is. Unseizable, unbreakable, just unprecedented technology that is the biggest disruption, at least in the financial world, in the last few centuries. And here, with this interview is bigger than most think, because this is what, the actual acceptance of this by someone who manages $1.5 trillion, they're accepting Bitcoin for what it is. So if this doesn't mean a lot, and if it doesn't tell you what is coming for Bitcoin, oh, you're in for a rude awakening, my friend. So, and to add insult to injury, here is a chart of, before I move to the chart, I'm going to show you what I'm changing in my strategy right now. This is an epic chart. So this is Bitcoin's hash rate, which actually right now topped 500 exahashes per second. The power of Bitcoin, how indestructible, just unprecedented. It's absolutely incredible. What is 500 exahashes of power, which actually backs Bitcoin, why it's so powerful, why it's so strong, and why it is such a desirable asset that is going to soon have a huge supply and demand shock because FOMO is going to be real. 500 exahashes. We've discussed this before that if the United States, for example, wanted to try and slow down Bitcoin, overtake its mining operations, they would have to shut down all of their 100, they have around 100 nuclear power stations, connect them all to Bitcoin, and even then they might slow it down a tiny bit. So, and even right now with 500 exahashes, they probably will not even put in a dent into Bitcoin. So for comparison, I absolutely love this tweet, 500 exahashes per second right here. For every star in our galaxy, the Bitcoin network is calculating 5 billion computations a second, and it would take 2,000 years for the entire global population, each performing 1 hash a second, to match the Bitcoin's network's hash rate. And the Bitcoin's network performs 67 times more hashes per second than there are grains of sand on Earth. And by number of raw operations, Bitcoin is 500 times more performant than the world's most powerful supercomputer. So that to give you some context when you buy Bitcoin, what you actually buy. And these guys right here are starting to realize this. So with all the inflows with the ETFs, it's going to be slowly and gradually building up. And also the Fed pivot and trifecta, again, the actual halving that is coming up. Oh man. So then now we are getting to the chart. And remember guys, I trade over on Bybit, and I'm going to be the trades I'm discussing here, I always put in on Bybit. And with my exclusive link down in the description of this video, you can actually claim up to $30,000 in initial deposit bonuses. So use it to your advantage only with my exclusive link. And they're going to be ending this bonus very soon. So bull market is around the corner. You need a place to trade, and you might as well just trade with the epic bonuses using my link. And you can always create a new account if you already have a Bybit account, even a KYC'd one. You can create a new one using my link and just use another ID, maybe a driver's license or ID card or a passport, something different from what you've used with your previous account. And you can still create a new account and also get all these bonuses. And with a Bybit account using your UID, you can actually get into my Discord. This is where we post insane trades, and we do exceptionally well. We're gonna make a lot of money together. So therefore, there is also a link to it down in the description that says VIP signal. So get these bonuses and get ready for some epic opportunity. So now, my huge update. As I told you before, that right now I have 2 areas for longing on Bitcoin. So this is the first area, 39 to like 40, and then my stop loss on this would be 38 to like 39. And then if that would be invalidated and if it would actually go lower, then my next trade would be put in like around 37 to 38 zone with a stop loss of like 36. And also on Ethereum is holding out a bit better. Again, we've discussed it so many times. Why? Because right now the narrative and the sentiment will be for Ethereum and not Bitcoin because of the ETF hopium for Ethereum. So we're going to be shifting our view to altcoins in Ethereum a bit. And some of our altcoins have done really well, but I'm going to make a separate update about it a bit later. So Ethereum stays the same. So I'm not changing anything on the Ethereum, and the targets are all the same. Again, please go back and watch my previous videos if you haven't been paying attention. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, though, because I think Bitcoin is looking a bit weaker than Ethereum, so therefore, there is a probability of us dipping a bit lower on Bitcoin right now. Despite everything I've just discussed, it's normal. You know, we always go up and down and up and down. It's always normal to have healthy corrections and stop people out. And especially we have some CME gaps lower in this region. So it is probably smart to remove this entry. So this is the adjustment I'm making. So I'm not going to be taking a long trade here. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe we just are not going to make it to 37,000, 37 to 38 to this area right here. But I'd rather not risk it when I don't need to, when especially I'm holding a lot of Bitcoin. So for a leverage trade, I'm not going to take it here, which I mentioned in a previous video. I'm going to only take it in the vicinity of about 38 to 37 area with a stop loss of 36 or so. So this is a very important update, so you don't take the trade and later blame me when I don't take a trade. So I'm removing it, but everything else I'm keeping as it is. But just in general, guys, this whole move to the downside, crashing. Who cares? Even if it goes to 37, 36, 35. Guys, what is around the corner is unprecedented. So, therefore, check out this quick tutorial as to how to trade with proper risk and money management, even if you replicate the trades that are in Discord that we post, or if you look at the bigger trades I post here on YouTube, you still need to know how to trade. So check out this quick tutorial, and also get all the bonuses using my link, create a new account with Bybit if you haven't claimed all the bonuses, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.